Oh well, I'll deal with the consequences later. Welcome back, dear viewers. It is I, Drayhan, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons & Dragons Character Conversions. Not episode, just another video. In case you were confused by my little opening introduction, that was a screenshot from my other channel, Theory Break, where I originally did the character conversions. Now that I have begin download, I am doing them here. So, for this video, we are taking another one of the videos that I had over there and bring it over here. By the time you see this video, that video will have been taken down. We're once again taking a look at a video game character. This one is another one that I don't have experience with. Much like Pit in Dark Pit, Link's just a character that I know of. And only because he is a Nintendo product. I have not played any of the games. I have seen trailers, I have seen a little bit of gameplay footage, but that's about it. I have no experience playing the Legend of Zelda franchise, much like the Kid Icarus franchise. That does not mean I do not know the characters. I have done my research on both Kid Icarus and the Legend of Zelda franchises, and that is why I have created these videos. To show you my research. Much like what I do over on the other channel. Now, as always, we're going by the point-buy system for our stats. For Link's stats, I want to give him a 12 for his strength. Dexterity is going to be one of our highest stats at a 14, as well as Constitution. Intelligence is going to be a 10. He's pretty darn average as far as intelligence goes. His wisdom, however, is going to be where things falter, because he's not a communicative person. But that doesn't mean he does not know how to get to people. He does know how to get to people, which is why his charisma is also a 14. He's very charismatic. He doesn't need to speak to get his point across. Now, for his race, was a tricky one. Though, looking over his physique, you can tell what race he is in Dungeons & Dragons. He is an elf. More importantly, a wood elf, because one of the games he was raised in the forest. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh, but Drayhan, we see Link asleep in every single game. How in the world can he be an elf when elves don't sleep? To that I say, you're wrong. They can, in fact, sleep. The racial trait they have is called trance. They can't be affected by magical sleep, but they can go to sleep. They just don't need to. They can instead go into a trance for their resting period. Moving forward, our ability score increase is going to be intelligence and wisdom. Going to get a speed of 35 thanks to our wood elf stats. Dark vision of 60 feet, We got the Fey Ancestry, which keeps us from going to sleep by magical means. Again, that's a key word here, magical means. You could say that he went to sleep on his own, and then he got some sort of magical paralysis. So technically a sleep paralysis. You got the trance, which lets you be in a trance-like state for a few minutes, and you have the same exact properties as a short rest. Mask of the Wild is pretty good. You got some nice camouflage going. And your proficiencies are going to be with a long sword, short bow, and long bow, and you get the perception skill. And languages are going to be Common and Elvish. So our dexterity is now a 16, and wisdom will be a 9. Still not great because, well, he doesn't need to talk. Our background is going to be a folk hero. Proficiencies will be cook utensils and vehicles of the land. You also have the skills of animal handling and survival. The reason why I chose folk hero is because, well, he's a well-known hero. And the defining event is a Fae revealed his secret origin. He's the reincarnation of a hero who defeated a demon. You can't get any more folk hero than that. You also get the feature of rustic hospitality. Characteristics, I just went with some basic characteristics you get from the folk hero. And the flaw, well, not exactly from the folk hero. It's still the one that makes sense for Link. He's a bit of a pushover. Why do I say he's a pushover? 2 words. Side quests. How many side quests are there in each of the games? And most of them, you have to take the side quests in order to progress through the game. Or to get some very good items in order to help you complete the game. So yes, he's a pushover. He's going to be doing small tasks every now and then. For class, I decided to go with a Paladin for our first level. Because, well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? He is a knight who has fellowship to a higher entity. This being, of course, the 3 goddesses in most of the Legend of Zelda franchise. And there was some concept art in one of the old manuals where the Legend of Zelda franchise had a more Christian theme. You had Link bowing before a cross, or the Virgin Mary statue, or something like that. Either way, it had more Christian ties. So a Paladin definitely makes the most sense for a starting class. That being the key term here, starting class. For hit dice, you get a 1d10. Hit points is going to be 10 plus your Constitution modifier. So you get a nice steady 2. So 12 hit points, not bad. At higher levels, you get a 1d10 plus your Constitution modifier per Paladin level for your hit points. Proficiencies, you get all armor and shields. Weapons, simple weapons and martial weapons. So now you have all your weapons covered. Saving throws is going to be wisdom and charisma, and skills will choose medicine and religion. You also get 2 features, the divine sense and lay on hands, which will be pretty useful. Leveling up, we'll get a level in Rogue. I actually got this idea from the YouTuber, one of the YouTubers that I had listed. I'll forget his name. Anyway, his video is going to be in the description along with Taluk the Barbarian and Nerd Immersion. But his video actually inspired me for this part of the build. And you'll see why here in a minute. Extra hit points is going to be a 1d8 plus your Constitution modifier per rogue level. Proficiencies, you get thieves' tools, and stealth. Expertise is when you get double proficiency in a few of your skills. We went with stealth and religion. You also get sneak attack and thieves' cant. At level 2 rogue, we get the cunning action. At level 3, we get the roguish archetype known as the swashbuckler. You'll get fancy footwork and rockish audacity, which honestly seems to fit Link rather well. At level 4 rogue, we get either an ability score improvement or a feat. If you go with the ability score improvement, increase your dexterity and your constitution by 1. If you want to take a feat, grab the martial adept. This will give you some maneuvers. Grab riposte and sweeping attack. This is very important for a Link build. You also get a 1d6 superiority die. Another level increase, we're going to grab Paladin. This will give us the fighting style. And we're going to choose dueling, which will give us a +2 to our attack rolls and damage rolls for melee weapons. And you also get spellcasting. Yes, that's probably the only reason why I didn't like the idea of doing Paladin, and why a bunch of people haven't done Paladins, because of the spellcasting. But we will cover that in a minute. You get a charisma modifier added for your spellcasting feature. For rogue level 5, we get the feature known as uncanny dodge. And this is the important part I was talking about. Rogues, no matter what archetype you choose, rogues dodge very well. And Link has the uncanny ability to dodge a lot of different attacks. He can dodge beams of light. He can dodge laser beams, which are roughly the same thing. He has dodged lightning before. And I do believe he survived an attack from a dragon-like entity. So that is why we went with the rogue for these dodging capabilities. And the sneak attacks also help pretty well too, because I do remember there being some sort of stealth mission piece in some of these games. At level 6 rogue, we get more expertise. Grab animal handling and survival. At level 7, we get the evasion, which makes our dodging that much better. If I remember correctly, evasion, if you are subjected to an area of effect saving throw, if you succeed that saving throw, you take absolutely no damage. But if you do fail your saving throw, you only take half the damage. How crazy is that? You either automatically take half the damage, or you take none of the damage. On to a level 8 rogue, we get a ability score improvement. If you did not take the feat, increase your dexterity and your constitution by 1. If you did take a feat, just do the same thing. Increase your dexterity and constitution by 1. This will mimic the last time we did an ability score improvement. At level 3 Paladin, we get our oath. And the one that fit very well to me was the Oath of the Ancients. This being the 3 goddesses of the game. You get Channel Divinity, Nature's Wrath, and Turn the Faithless. And your oath spells are Ensnaring Strike and Speak with Animals. I mean, not extremely useful, but it's helpful. My original idea for Link was to get a Paladin of the Ancients with a Warlock of the Ocfei. I wanted to call it the Feywild Champion. But then I saw the rogue archetype being applied to Link, and I was like, this is so much better. So I decided to go with this setup. At level 9 rogue, we get the Ponic. I don't know how to pronounce that. Level 10 rogue gives us an ability score improvement again. If you did not take any feats thus far, increase your constitution by 1 and your charisma by 1. If you did take any feats, increase dexterity to 18 and charisma to 15. At level 4 paladin, you can either forego any feats and go with an 18 constitution and a 16 charisma, or grab another feat and choose the Great Weapon Master, which Great Weapon Master just has to be one of the best feats ever. On your turn, when you score a critical hit with a melee weapon or reduce a creature to 0 hit points with one, you can make one melee weapon attack as a bonus action. And with this build, you're going to be doing that a lot. That's more attacks. Attack after attack. If you were to go with a 5th level paladin, you would get extra attack. But unfortunately, we're not doing that with this build, which I probably should have. But the most important part here is, before you make a melee attack with a heavy weapon that you are proficient with, you can choose to take a -5 penalty to the attack roll. If the attack hits, you add a +10 to the attack's damage. That is just... it's perfect. At level 11 rogue, we get the reliable talent, which is pretty good. Level 12 rogue, we get another ability score improvement. We're not taking any feats for now. Level 13 rogue, we get elegant maneuver, which just gives us some bonuses to some of our skills. Level 14 rogue gets blind sight. We will know where an invisible enemy is, or at least we will know one is present. Which, that seems like a Link thing. I'm pretty sure there's something like that in one of the games. I just don't remember. At level 15, you got Slippery Mind. This one was a pretty good skill. At level 16, we get a Rogue ability score improvement, which will put our strength at a 13 and our wisdom at a 10. If you wanted to go with the ability score improvement. If you want to go with another feat, grab a sharpshooter, because Link is all about those range attacks. Much like the Great Weapon Master, you can take a -5 to your range attack roll, and if you hit, it gives you a +10 to your damage. And your range attacks happen to avoid half cover and 3/4 cover. And if you are shooting longer than your weapon's range has, it does not impose disadvantage on your ranged attacks, which is pretty darn good. Alright, let's talk about these spells. I only went with stuff that fit with Link's character. So, Detect Poison and Disease, Purify Food and Drink, and Wrathful Smite. These are more of a roleplay thing, and all paladins should technically have these spells. Once you get to a 4th level paladin, you'll have Divine Favor and Heroism added to your list, which will be very helpful for your Great Weapon Master and your Sharpshooter feats. And then let's talk about your equipment. Starting equipment, grab the short sword, you have the shield, 5 javelins, you get chainmail, a holy symbol, and the Explorer's Pack. Thanks to your background, you have cook's utensils, a shovel, an iron pot, a set of common clothes, a pouch, and 10 gold. So not a bad item set. But for some recommendations, I would grab a grappling hook, boomerang, heavy crossbow, and some bolts, of course, a long bow, and also some arrows to go with it. Now, this is optional, but because of the new game Breath of the Wild, Link can use a lot of different weapons, such as the great sword, the halberd, the battle axe, the spear, the warhammer, the longsword, and a great club. This will give you some use of your great weapon master feature, just in case you wanted to use that great sword. Now, magic items, technically speaking, Link is the atypical Dungeons & Dragons adventurer, so any magic item would work for him. But we are also talking about the Hero of Time, and what is the Hero of Time without his Master Sword? And the closest item I can think of for this weapon, because it is passed down through each and every generation of Link. So, what better weapon than the Moonblade? I've talked about this weapon before during my Siegfried and Nightmare video, but this would be a perfect substitute for a Master Sword. And with that, I think I'm through with this build, and I'm out of time. I've got another character to work on. So until next time, viewers, this has been Drehan, and I am offline.